This is Richard A. McMenamin II. Today's date is September 4th, Labor Day, 2023. And I'm here now to address the people of the state of New Hampshire and notify them of a very volatile situation in this state, which has compounded itself to putting your children at risk in this state. Everybody's child's at risk right now. I've been operating at a level that most people don't know even exists. Some people just call it politics, but there's a humongous amount of crime going on in our state government. Most of it is related to the tortures, rapes, and murders of children, which has occurred over the last decades and is still going on by individuals in the state government. And most agencies, the DHHS, any agency dealing with children, and especially the courts, the judges, guardian ad litems, attorneys, prosecutors, police officers, it's huge. And because of it, because I began exposing it, they started to retaliate, and they retaliated against me at the beginning. They used every resource they had at the beginning, but it didn't work. So they attempted to kill me and my children because of what we knew. And the federal judges got involved in it. A federal witness was murdered, her 2 children. This isn't no joke. This is really going on. And the proof of it now, after 5 years of me battling this on my own, I have removed, I use the term taken out. People get offended or think that's in a different manner, but 2 federal judges, or 2 federal judgeships. The first was the Michael Delaney, which went all the way to Capitol Hill, a nomination by Jeanne Shaheen. And it took the state senators from the Southern District of the United States to take him out, have him withdraw from this nomination to be on an appeals court in Boston, a federal appeals court in Boston. That's the step just before the Supreme Court of the United States. Secondly, the President of the United States claimed he was going to come back to New Hampshire and get another judge for that position. And I know which judge he was coming back for. That was a senior district federal judge for the state of New Hampshire. And what I ended up doing was exposing him as being involved in these rapes, tortures, and murders of children at the Sununu Center, which has been going on for 40 years. It's not only the Sununu Center, it's the entire, what they call a system. It includes the foster care, these juvenile justice systems. They're all designed to access children. But this is a very important discovery that this particular judge was Attorney General in the 1980s when a lot of this violence against children at this facility, these tortures and these rapes of these children, and only a portion of them come forward, and there's 1,000 of them that have come forward. And as I've stated before, the UP or the AP, Associated Press, has labeled this case the largest child sex abuse case in United States history. People don't want to realize it. New Hampshire people don't want to know about it. They want to go about their business. I understand that. I understand that fully, and that's why a guy like me is here, I guess, to combat these people. But what you're going to learn now is that this is now affecting you and your children, and it's very dangerous. The third person that I eliminated was the governor himself. I've unseated Sununu, and I can tell you that his thoughts of being president for the United States of America are born out of him trying to wash out this case at the Sununu Center, named after his own family, and these atrocities and the amount of people that are involved. He's trying to protect the actual perpetrators of these crimes, who are state actors. And that's why he was bidding, supposedly, for the presidency of the United States. I can tell you that a federal investigation stopped him from doing that. A federal investigation into my case stopped him from doing that. My case, as you know, if you've looked at my other videos, involves a little girl, only known as Baby Nomi, that was 3 months old and in the custody of the New Hampshire DCYF when my son's mother beat her severely. And now recent evidence has shown that she was injured severely. And then this was verified through the chairman of the Executive Council of the state of New Hampshire. But Sununu, after pulling out of this thoughts of running for president, he assumably was going to come back and run for the governorship of the state of New Hampshire again. I stopped him from doing that. I can't tell you how I stopped him from doing that, but I will tell you that it does involve him trying to protect these judges that are involved in this. Now, this is what's been going on that nobody knows about. There was, in 2022, a federal wiretap in my case, which recorded an assistant attorney general of the state of New Hampshire, and this is presumably with the knowledge of John Famella, the attorney general right now. John Famella is Sununu's best friend. He was his personal attorney, and he's his best friend. Understand this. This assistant attorney general was recorded attempting to provoke homicides at a New Hampshire public school. This was after New Hampshire Supreme Court justices were blatantly revealed trying to promote violence at another school, a private school. It's believed that these guys, you back them against the wall, and this is where they go. They needed a diversion. Sununu was hanging out there in trouble with these cases, his involvement in these cases, and they needed a diversion. They had me out there probing and investigating and finding them, and they needed to do something. On that same wiretap, a very well-known attorney in the state of New Hampshire was recorded implicating members of the Executive Council of New Hampshire and Supreme Court justices from the state of New Hampshire in a bribery scheme, whereas they have been providing bribes to attorneys, to New Hampshire attorneys, for decades in order for those attorneys to not bring child abuse, molestation, child rape, child murder cases forward in the New Hampshire courts. Understand that. You have Supreme Court justices and members of the state legislature, the Executive Council, all the way to the top, bribing attorneys to not bring child abuse cases forward in the state of New Hampshire. These are violent cases. The reason for that is because if they go to trial, that these truths will come out and people will be exposed, including some of the judges that may have been presiding over these cases. They could not afford to have any doors opened, a Pandora's box, if you will, in the the New Hampshire court system, which could start implicating judges, guardian ad litems, prosecutors, local police. Okay, they've all been identified in my case. Belknap County, I was able to identify a prosecutor in Belknap County who's still there. He's still a prosecutor. And a police officer in Belknap County, still a police officer. And many associations to these two. That prosecutor would commonly go down to the Sununu Center in the middle of his quote-unquote workday and access children. Quote, rape children, and then leave and go about his business in the middle of the day. He'd do it, it was said about once a month that he was tracked in there doing this. Because I'm operating at this level, I have been able to identify a danger right now, a sense of danger, identify a danger, whatever you want to say, that there may be an event intentionally caused in this state to try and deviate from what's going on here. One of the reasons that Sununu is out there on these talk shows or these news, whatever, doing jabs, political jabs with relating to the presidency of the United States. That's not because he wants to. It's because he has to. Now, that's very, very dangerous for the people of New Hampshire because this guy hasn't gone away. All right? I took him out of both his intentions to run for presidency of the United States and coming back here to be governor again. But he's not going away. That's a problem. That's a problem because he's out there. Every word that comes out of his mouth is designed to continue to protect this dynamic in this state of these atrocities upon children. And now, being that it's bled over into our schools, and of all things, the Attorney General's office of the state of New Hampshire targeting the children at our private schools, and this case is full of murder. That's the only thing that's understood in this case is murder. Very, very dangerous. And now, for this to be going on, the people of New Hampshire need to get involved. This is what needs to happen. The chairman of the Executive Council of the state of New Hampshire right now needs to step down. His name's Ted Gastus. He's involved in this very, very seriously. He needs to step down. Famella needs to be out of there immediately. The children of the state of New Hampshire need to be protected now. So Sununu, he's not going away, okay? These children are still in danger. This is what needs to happen. Gastus, I want you out of there. I know you're going to take that as a challenge and there's going to be retaliation again. You know, $1 million of equipment being burned after the last time I engaged with this guy. It's very, very dangerous for anybody in this case, and now dangerous for the children of the state of New Hampshire. Famella, gone. He needs to be replaced. Whoever's not in charge, not involved in the executive council in these crimes, needs to take over in the executive council position. And they need to start appointing people to the Attorney General's office right away. Because I'm not going to sit back and watch a school get hit. Because that's where these guys are going. I'm not doing it. They need to be removed right now. The people in New Hampshire need to assure that they're removed. They need to be out of there. This is what needs to be done. Thank you. God bless you. God bless every child.